This is a homemade laundry detergent recipe that will save you over $200 a year. The recipe card sits in a tin on the shelf above our washing machine, and it has been there for 47 years. My wife pinned it up the week after we were married. She copied it from her mother in pencil on the back of a feed store receipt, and the pencil has faded enough by now that you have to tilt the card toward the window to read it. 3 ingredients for this do-it-yourself laundry soap. A bar of soap, a cup of 20 Mule Team Borax, a cup of Arm & Hammer superwashing soda. That recipe has done every load of laundry in this house for 2 generations, and it works perfectly in HE washers too. I want to walk you through it because we have reached the point in this country where most people don't know homemade laundry detergent can be done. The grocery store has trained 4 generations to believe a jug of blue water is a necessity. It isn't, and it never was. Let me give you the cost first, because the cost is the part that wakes people up. A 4-pound box of 20 Mule Team Borax at the hardware store runs about $6. A 4-pound box of Arm & Hammer superwashing soda costs about $5. A bar of plain soap, the kind labeled Fels Naphtha, or Zote or Pure Castile, costs $2 or $3. Add a small canister of coarse sea salt, and you are at $15 total. From those ingredients, you can make a 5-gallon bucket of laundry gel. 1 bucket runs about 300 loads. For an average family, that is a year of washing. For my wife and me, with the kids long grown, it stretches closer to 18 months. The same year of laundry, bought in plastic jugs at the supermarket, costs the average American household somewhere between $200 and $350. Unlike Tide or commercial detergents that contain sodium lauryl sulfate and artificial surfactants, this homemade recipe uses simple, natural ingredients. The math is not subtle. You are paying 20 times what the soap actually costs, and most of what you are buying is water with food coloring in it. Now the recipe itself. You grate 1 whole bar of soap into a saucepan using a regular cheese grater. Add 4 cups of hot water and melt it down slowly over low heat, stirring with a wooden spoon, not metal. The washing soda will gray a metal spoon over time, and my wife learned that the first year and has never used anything but wood since. The melting takes 10 or 15 minutes. Do not let it boil. My mother-in-law used the word whisper for the heat you want, and that's the right word, just under the bubble. Once the soap is dissolved, pour the whole pan into a clean 5-gallon bucket and add a cup of Arm & Hammer superwashing soda and a cup of 20 Mule Team Borax. Stir until both powders dissolve. Fill the bucket the rest of the way with hot tap water and put the lid on. By morning, it has set into a GL. Some batches come out the texture of loose pudding, others closer to custard. Both work. Half a cup per load, a 1/4 cup if you have one of the high-efficiency machines. That's the recipe most people know or can find in any old farm bulletin or on any homestead website. It works. It will save you $200 this year alone. But there are 2 things my wife does that the printed recipes leave out, and I want to tell you about both of them because the difference shows up on the sheets. The first is salt. 2 heaping tablespoons of coarse sea salt, stirred into the warm batch right before she puts the lid on. The salt does 2 jobs. It locks colored dye into the fabric so things do not fade out as fast. The same principle dye houses have used for 200 years, and it pulls the calcium and magnesium out of our well water, so the soap does not have to fight the hard water before it can fight the dirt. The salt costs about $1 in the whole year. The difference in the wash is not subtle. My undershirts are whiter at 73 than they were at 30. The second is sunlight. We do not own a dryer. We have not owned one since 1978. There is a line strung between the porch post and the maple, and that is where the wash goes, every season but the deepest part of January. Ultraviolet light breaks down stains at the molecular level. It bleaches without bleach. My wife's grandmother knew it as bringing the wash to the sun, and she would hang white linens out in February if the sky was clear, even when the towels froze stiff on the line. They came in cleaner than any dryer will ever get them. If you do not have a yard, hang the wash for 2 or 3 hours in front of a south-facing window. You will still get most of the effect. The yellowed collars on old shirts will pale out in about a month. A few practical notes before I let you go. The bucket should be food grade if you can find one. Bakeries throw away frosting buckets by the dozen, and they will give them to you for nothing if you ask on a Tuesday morning. The orange hardware store buckets work, but the plasticizers in them can leach a little into a warm alkaline mix over weeks. It will not poison anything. It just defeats the purpose of making it clean yourself. Use a wooden spoon. Do not let the soap boil. Save your soap slivers from the bathroom in a jar by the machine. When the jar is half full, that is your next batch's bar. And if you have one of the high-efficiency machines, do not worry about the suds. Real soap does not make many. The bubbles in commercial detergent are theater. Suds were never what cleaned anything. They were what convinced you something was being cleaned, which is a different thing entirely. That is the whole of it. A bar of soap, a cup of 20 Mule Team Borax, a cup of Arm & Hammer superwashing soda, 2 spoonfuls of salt, and a clothesline if you have somewhere to put one. The recipe in the tin above our washing machine has been doing the laundry in this house since 1978. My daughter copied that same recipe onto her own card the year she got married, and her daughter copied it last spring. The pencil keeps fading. Somebody keeps writing it down again.